Grandmother's Alphabet by Laura E. Richards. The ant is so busy it makes her quite dizzy. She says that her head goes whirl around whizzy. The bunny is funny, he cannot make honey, nor write with a pen, nor shoot with a gunny. The cow is not able to sit at the table, and so we must send her to eat in the stable. The duck goes a-quacking, and clicking and clacking, and eats all she finds from beeswax to blacking. The elephant mighty cannot find his nightie, it makes him feel nervous and fractious and flighty. The fish has no wish to be put in a dish, so he's off like a flash with a swishity swish. The goose has no use for an Indian papoose, so she looks at it sadly and says, "What's the use?" The hen lays an egg and stands on one leg and says, "Cuck-a-duck-cut, observe me I beg." The ibis is pretty, but not very witty, and when he is tired he plays with a kitty. The jaguar so cruel was killed in a duel, and left his poor wife to eat nothing but gruel. The kind kangaroo had so little to do that he talks to the mooly and try to say moo. The lizard goes sighing and sobbing and crying because his poor tail got shrunk in the dying. The moose is all humpy and grumpy and lumpy, and if you say boo, he's off with a thumpy. The newt has a neighbor who fights with a saber, and when he has conquered, he beats on a tabor. The owl and the oyster went off for a oyster, and when they came back, they were put in a cloister. The pig bought a carrot to give to his parrot, but Poll was so frightened, she hid it in a garret. The queen in her crown and velvety gown, she went to the circus and laughed at the clown. The ram and the rattlesnake had a great battle, for each called the other a tiddly-tattle. The stork had a fancy to go to a dancy, but people said, "No, you're rather too prancy." The timorous tapir was reading the paper and found that his aunt had married a draper. The unicorn tried on a camel ride, but there came a sad fall to himself and his pride. The viper is vain, and cannot explain why people persist so in calling him plain. The woodchuck is wealthy, and hearty and healthy, but sometimes his movements are snooping and stealthy. The Xiphias perks his head up to see Xerxes, and thinks him much finer than Tartars or Turkses. The yammering yak has spots on his back, he can't get them off, so he puts on a sack. The zebra with zeal was cooking a meal, but he found it was onions and stopped with a squeal.